What's up, guys? I'm here to talk to you today about taking your outlines and turning them into body paragraphs. This is going to get down to the meat and potatoes of actually writing an essay. Hopefully, you've done all your research. You've gathered the pieces of evidence you want to use to sort of prove your thesis, which means that you've developed and selected a thesis, a nice strong idea that's going to show Huck's moral development and also maybe teach us a little bit of something as to why we might read Huckleberry Finn or what can we take away from this story. So I'm going to show you one paragraph and you can watch up to this to a point. Then if you want to see me struggle with writing this paragraph, you can watch further. But basically, once we have our idea for a paragraph, in this case, my idea is I want to highlight that Huck learned from an early age not to get involved with other people's affairs. And then the two pieces of evidence, and you don't really only need one, but I thought there were two great examples of this. So I picked out Tom's trick on Jim very early in the book, and then right when he meets the Duke and the King, Huck has that great quote that says, "If I never learned nothing else out of Pap, I learned that the best way to get along with people is to let them have their own way." And boom, that quotation right there ties right back into my thesis of what he learned. And then as I go through my paper, I'm going to prove why this is wrong and how Huck learns this is wrong. But to take this main idea, so long as I have my quotations found and my ideas organized, hopefully this goes pretty easy. Because remember, once we have our quotation down, it's really easy. I think the easiest way is to find our quote first and then fill in the information around these pieces and parts. What I'm going for is to come up with a topic sentence, context for the story of which I'm going to be talking about, drop in that actual quote, and then give commentary and analysis about why this quote goes to back up my thesis right here. So I'm just going to show you body paragraph. Let's spell paragraph quickly. So at this point, if you want to press pause on the video and go try it yourself to take your direct citations and start building them into this format, go for it. But just remember that you can't just drop in a topic sentence and then go to a context and go through a quote. You actually have to think, okay, how do these logically connect together? So don't just fill in the outline without actually thinking. Think logically and put those together. If you want to keep watching, I'm going to struggle through this process, which is messy, which is ugly, but I'll get there, of taking these ideas and creating a body paragraph. So here we go. My main idea is about Huck learning from an early age not to get involved with other people's actions. So I might say something, this topic paragraph is going to be about at the beginning of the story. Shows his early education about, I don't like early education. Ho shows his willingness to sit back and other people do, so better verb than do, perform bad actions. Not the best topic sentence in the world. We get to the point. It sort of hooks back into my thesis idea. It's going to let me set up the context for a couple of my quotes here really well. So I might say, early, Huck is faced the suggestion by his friend Sawyer. So what I'm doing here is I'm just setting the context for the quote that I'm going to use. So I found this great piece of evidence, is this quote from Huckleberry Finn about playing a prank on Jim. But I can't just drop in that quote. I've got to let the reader know, okay, here's the information going on around this that's going to relate back to my story, or relate back to my point, my evidence. So early on, Huckleberry's decision with Tom Sawyer to prank the slave Jim. And I might say, and I might drop in this quote, almost word for word. I'm going to change the introduction. Yeah, Huck reflects Tom whispered to me, but I said no. So I've got this quote. Tom whispered to me and wanted me to tie Jim to the tree for fun, but I said no. He might wake and make a disturbance, and they would find I weren't in. And now I need to work on this analysis and commentary. So I really need to take a look at this specific text, what is in this quotation, relate it back to my topic sentence, and relate it back to my thesis. And this is hard. This is the work of writing an essay. This is really why I have you write essays, is to get to this part of analysis. And so what I'm going to write here is, here shows true colors. He doesn't want to make a disturbance. I'm going to put that in quotation marks because I really like that the direct word that he uses right here. Doesn't want to make a disturbance, and knows that playing the trick is wrong, and will disturbance. Oh, here we go. See, I'm changing it up. Disturbance, comma, knowing that playing the trick is wrong and will get him in trouble. But he allows Tom to go ahead with his ruse. It just means his joke, his kind of attempt to trick Jim. Let's see here. I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to leave this thought right here, and then I'm going to jump into my next context, I think, and then really tie it all together at the end of this paragraph. So maybe I'm going to use a transition here to go between this idea of this direct citation going right into the context of my next one. So while this first instance is non-harmful, Huck is faced again with a choice of letting bad acts happen or standing up. In chapter 19, when he first meets Duke and the king. These two men are conmen and swindlers. Faking. Maybe, yeah, let's just say faking themselves. It's not the best wording, but we're going to go with it as royalty. Special treatment by the slave. Just say by Jim. It doesn't matter that he's slave at this point. These two government recognizes this early in their meeting, but says, use this quote about what he learned from Pap. It says, if I never learned nothing else out of Pap, I learned the best way to get along with this kind of people is let them have their own way. I'm going to continue this sentence. This is kind of a big, long run-on sentence. We're going to roll with it. I learned the best way to go along with this kind of people is let them have their own way, showing that this complacency, Huck, I really want to show that, you know, he showed us early by not stopping Tom, but really this started much earlier than that chapter 3. This happened way before the beginning of the book because he learned this from Pap, right? That's what this whole quote is about. So that this complacency of Huck's was probably a result of his rough by his abusive father. There we go. There's sort of one body paragraph. How'd we do? And what I would need now, oh, not bad, 218 words. And so what I would do now is figure out where my next paragraph is going, write a little transition sentence, and then roll into that. That's the best I've got for you guys here. It's ugly, it's gross, but it'll work.